We're live. What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen of all ages? It's your boy Free Jomo back with Daffyd. How are you, my friend?
I'm really good, really good.
Yeah, man.
We're ready to
Yeah.
deliver the second podcast in our collection.
I know, we're moving up in the world. We got past the pilot episode. Just like Brexit
And
slabs are moving up in the world. Come on, first win. Dino getting his first ever win in Hackspall. Man, if that ain't the
yeah,
best news you've ever heard, that I don't know what's going on in your life. But
I
yeah,
think
man.
that's definitely the biggest league news we've had since the last podcast.
Yeah.
I think Dino's been playing futsal for at least a year,
He only just got
so
his first win, but
to finally get his first win
yeah.
over who did you beat? I can't
We
even
beat
remember.
Power man, like Power's in the chat. We beat what's it? PDM Pasties and Blems.
Oh yeah, the Cornish pasties.
Yeah, I think Atlas was seething a bit, but
I was expecting them to disband after
yeah,
that. To be honest, we've seen it
especially
before when teams lose to Brexit.
we've already made two teams this month, but
But they still seem to be going for now. Although I don't
yeah,
think have they played a game since then. I don't know. They keep
uh,
wildcarding and stuff. So
yeah, I know Flying Aces made a rage quit, so I'm
yeah, that's
surprised
true.
they're going. I'm surprised they're going.
At least they completed the game versus you.
Yeah.
Although you only won in the very last seconds, didn't you?
So last minute shit out. Indigo isn't old. Power repping Brexit stars in the chat, so I should be concentrating on the thing. But we've also had some drama this week, Daffy, haven't we?
Yeah. So obviously the equalists. To be honest, ever since pre-season started, Hella Cash as they were called then, they've always been sort of teetering on the verge of disbanding at any given point. And I think finally Payton decided enough was enough for
Yeah.
him.
I'm amazed.
Apparently,
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
so, but yeah, apparently Amin and Aspia will take over, but I don't really see Amin as captain material, really. So
Yeah.
I know Aspia has got good experience with being captaining Sepultura in
Yeah.
quite a few leagues. So
Lost to no frauds, what can I say?
yeah,
But
must be frauds then.
I think
But
it's a good time now to introduce our special guest. Tonight we've got Total on. Total there.
Yo, hello.
Hello, big man.
Good evening, everyone.
So,
What's up?
we're all good, we're all good. How are you?
I'm fine. First of all, I want to congratulate Brexit Slavs
Thank you. Thank
for
you.
the victory, especially Dino.
Yeah.
Big game. What a man.
Yeah.
he's a big game player, Dino. He scored 4 goals past Fury and ELO earlier today. Absolutely on fire.
Looking fire. Did you see all the skills he's posted? Oh.
He's just suddenly turning on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dino is on fire right now.
Dino's on fire.
Hot player.
Trust me, indeed. So, Total, what's your take on all of this drama with the Equalists?
I think in the past weeks, it kind of has been coming after losing players. First of all, with Chorsi having drama, leaving the team. Now Whale is gone.
Yeah.
I just think they were especially Whale. He was the player who kept it all together.
Yeah, he was that.
He was the player who just went and had top performances. Now it's just like their players are decent, but I see it mostly as a group of individuals rather than a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Payton made some questionable decisions as well with his signings.
No.
Because the team with sort of Amin, Vale, Raiden was working.
Yeah.
They were about third in the league. Raiden and Vale were amongst the top scorers and top assisters. And then he decided to add Muris and add Rizzoli and LE7, and it just didn't really make much sense. If your team's doing pretty well, you don't need to come first at this point. If we're going to playoffs,
and
so it just didn't really make much sense that Raiden, I think, mentioned it in the last podcast. Why would you change it if things are working?
Exactly. And bringing back LE7 when he hasn't played for 2 months, you know how much I rate him as a striker. I think he's one of the best when he's on form. But bringing him back when he hasn't played for 2 months and relying on him is a big risk, and it just didn't pay off.
Yeah, so it seemed like the 16-0
Yeah.
sort of the final sort of breaking point for Pathan.
Yeah.
So he did
Yeah.
that. And then it said a lot that LE7 left straight away as well.
He didn't
so
want to play. I can tell you that now. Inside the perspective, he really did. He could not be asked to play Axel. He's done with the game, but Pathan was begging him on WhatsApp. So there you go.
I think the main part what keeps Equalists alive right now is that Asmir can't leave.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Because Asmir obviously would be wanted by many other teams looking for probably flying aces right now. Because I heard Yato has left.
Yeah.
If Asmir had the ability to make a transfer, I'm sure he probably would have done.
Yeah.
Wait.
Completely, because they have no other goalkeeper of note.
Regroup him with his Predator Eagle mates.
You have been hearing some fake news right now. Yado is still playing.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was told Yato's given up.
No, fake news.
Oh, that's some inside information.
Yeah.
Flying aces.
Daffy sources. I think that's Sun or the Mirror.
It was probably Bennis who told me, so I should have known better.
Yeah, like he's just waffling.
So on the main topic, the main reason we wanted to get Total on is we're going to be looking in depth into the fight for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So we believe there's sort of probably 5 teams fighting for the last 3 spots. Obviously, Equalists should be okay still, as long as they can complete the season. As
they have
6
decent lead, yeah.
So, like, for example, they're still 16 points ahead of Flying Aces.
Yeah.
So, in the last 10 games, something would have to go pretty catastrophically wrong, i.e. a disband, for them not to make it. But that's still a possibility, for any of the teams. For whoever finishes 9th, looking at Equalists, will they still be here when the playoffs come around? Because it's still, 3 weeks left of the regular season. It's quite a long time in futsal terms.
And with the team partitioning off a lot, that's going to need more room for upsets and upsets and upsets. So it's still a big possibility that they could disband.
You kind of feel like they're one really bad result away from throwing the towel in still.
Exactly.
Yeah, if they keep going like this, they won't last. They will be gone.
Yeah.
So we have... Oh, to be honest, we're talking about Flying Aces, but Supreme Meme Team also have 23 points, so we can't completely discount them, I guess. But obviously, Flying Aces, they're coming up because of the transfers that they made in the mid-season.
Yeah. For those at home that aren't aware, they stole 2 players of Predator Eagles, being Pax and Subasa, who are great. They work well together, form a great midfield partnership, cover each other well.
Obviously, they knew they needed probably 11 out of 15 wins in the second half. I think, have you won every game bar 1 so far?
Yeah,
I think there was 1 defeat to Lord, wasn't there?
Yeah, that was kind of a slip up, but I don't really think. I think we will be at least fine to get close. Yeah, that's the least.
I mean, since the restart, Fixers and Indigo have been pretty inconsistent.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I think they have been playing worse than in the first leg, so they might drop points more than expected.
And Indigo have a very big week next week because they're playing Scream and Flying Aces. Yeah. Plus, they have postponed games against Prayers to do.
And that's going to be a feisty match because Maestro pulled a Maestro for that one.
Yeah.
In fact, that's something to discuss, isn't it? So, Prayers and Indigo. I mean, there's a lot of history with Maestro and KL.
Maestro and anyone, to be honest. I think he's got history with most captains.
Possibly, but those 2 in particular. That was a bit of a headache trying to sort that out. I think
Maestro dropping the no confirm.
Well, his point was like KL wrote postpone. Yeah. When postponing is technically, the agreement of both captains.
But apparently Henry had said in DMs, and then he didn't.
Yeah. So Henry Chinaski is the vice captain because Maestro has KL blocked. So KL PM'd Henry as they postpone, and Henry replied saying okay. Yeah. But then I think Maestro told Henry to say no to make them use the wild card. I mean, in reality, it makes no difference, whether you postpone, whether you wildcard. It's all a little bit petty because then KL obviously started throwing insults everywhere. And it got a bit messy.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of sort of heat when that game comes around next week. Maybe try and stream that because it'll be a good watch. But,
Yeah, KL won't go easy. That's for sure.
mm-hmm. In fact, the Indigo Prayers game in the first half was a great game. I think it was like 7-6 or something, and a late winner for Prayers. So there's going to be a lot of bad feeling. So we'll see. It kind of feels like a derby game.
Yeah, and Indigo are good against the better teams. Like they beat Enigma, nearly took a point against Prayers. I don't know what they did against Wolfpack, but them and Fixer seem like the two teams that, from that relegation, from that playoff scrap, that can get points against the top three. I feel.
Yeah, but the team I'm looking at quite in is Scream.
Yeah,
like they're sort of quietly going under the radar.
I mean,
But they're right there. They're 1 point off the playoffs. Obviously, they have big games next week because they're playing Flying Aces in Indigo.
Yeah.
But you can't write them off. I think with Ferry, they've got one of the most underrated DMs in the league.
DM easily.
Yeah, and Smurf, he's great AM.
Yeah, the Israeli Smurf is a really good player as well. So they're not. I guess they're not a very fashionable side. They don't have any players that immediately think, "Oh my God, he's a great player."
But they're solid.
But they're sort of doing their job, and they're in with a big chance.
Yeah.
I have heard some inside news that the reason behind so many postpones for Scream is that they want to get Optimus to play next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense because they either use Optimus or Killer as the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think there's a quite difference.
Yeah, Killer's a nice guy and everything, but he's not quite on the same level. I mean, Optimus does make some mistakes. I mean, we do like to meme him, but he's still a solid goalkeeper when he's on his game.
Yeah, that's the thing. He is kind of inconsistent. Like one day he's like great, then the second day he's like Fury.
Yeah.
Fury earlier in Yellow was just hilarious, man. I don't know how man can play so many actual games and still he's like, he kind of reminds me of Chaos. He just seems to get worse over time and not better. But I mean, he's a great guy, Fury. I'm not trying to knock him, but it is quite funny watching him play. Sometimes.
Yeah.
He's my slow ball buddy as well, so I've got to shout him out for that one.
Yeah, and the same thing goes with Nathan too, because I think he can be like 10 minutes of the game like out of it completely, then just turn something out of it like magically.
Well, he featured quite a few times on the last couple of goal of the weeks that Lyraco is doing.
Yeah.
So he does pull out some banging finishes, but yeah, he's probably one of those strikers that you couldn't really rely on him necessarily because he's going to throw in some bad performances. He's going to miss a few.
But he's still equally got a rocket in him. He's got a good shot. He's got magic.
But if the game's tight and there's like 2 minutes left and a chance comes to him, you're going to fancy him to get one.
Exactly.
That's why the loss of Monteiro was kind of big.
Yeah.
I don't really get why Mont went to the Portuguese team.
Well, I think
it was mainly just to play with his old Portuguese friends.
Yeah, and how did that turn out?
Like clearly not so well.
He's got turning up as well. Like he didn't turn up against us. Him or Wassup didn't turn up. So
yeah, like against us, we waited for Montero 50 minutes. He didn't come. 9-0 rage quit, and Montero joined like 2 minutes after they quit.
Yeah, Atlas is having some problems because we were due to play them in another league yesterday, and he couldn't get his players to stop playing CS:GO to come, so he had to give a death win. But their best team, Atlas, Wassup, Montero, and Mezzo is a really good team.
Yeah.
But they just getting all four of them to turn up at the same time just seems to be impossible for them. So
yeah,
I said in the last podcast they were sort of down with Flying Aces as they could, put a charge together in the second half, but that's just never materialised because the players just simply don't seem to have the motivation to do it. So, like the backup players, there's quite a big drop off to the likes of Hazard and Kesso. They're nowhere near the same level, so they're not going to pick up the results with those guys instead of Mesut and etc.
Yeah, either way, it's gonna be really intense.
Yeah.
The player fight. the next
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Yeah, the more flying aces sort of close in to the 8th, 9th spot if they keep doing so.
Yeah,
It's gonna add to the pressure.
next week is huge because we play obviously both of them, both of the two Indigo and Scream.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean we have also postponed game against Wolfpack and Breyers, so like that's a big week.
Yeah.
That's a big week for us.
But I think you can nick points against one of them teams. I genuinely.
Yeah,
do.
it's doable.
Because you got to remember the motivation for Preyers and Wolfpack isn't going to be quite the same because
Yeah.
they're completely safe now. You know they know they're in. You know, Preyers might maybe have the motivation of trying to go unbeaten.
Yeah.
You know, the whole way, but in reality that doesn't really make much difference.
Yeah.
And so they know that they're there. So maybe particularly with Wolfpack, I've seen Wolfpack trolling in a couple of games this season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they know.
they trolled against us first leg.
And they did against Lord as well. That was the game they lost.
I mean, I think they were trolling first half, but they weren't playing well. But then suddenly Vac just whips out 2 rockets. And it's like, oh,
Yeah, that's the thing they do.
And one of them was like the best rocket I think I've ever seen. Like first touch and he rockets it. Like what can you do?
And Enigma are looking super strong right now.
Yeah.
Like they completely annihilated Lord on the stream. Yes, Friday it was.
And I'm just saying, it's Tomza. It's Tomza not playing. It's
No,
not.
they replaced Tomza with Hulk. So.
Yeah, and it just the level goes up into like another gear because Tomza's shit. Let's be real. He's not up to scratch, and he's captain in the team so he can play with good players. Like Jasko doesn't like playing with him, from what I've heard, and I don't think Roz does as well.
Yeah, I mean Enigma has a strong team when they bother to play seriously.
Yeah, I think when we come to the actual playoffs, we're going to see out of those top 3 sides who the real sort of leaders are.
Yeah.
Like you never know with Tool if he's actually gonna try or not.
And
Because
also, I'm going to mention Hulk because I get on with Hulk, but he's a toxic guy. He really
He is. He really is.
And we saw what happened last time he played in the final. He shat the fucking bed. So
that's a good point. But obviously, when it comes, playoffs are double elimination. So maybe that if you haven't had your first defeat, maybe the pressure's not quite the same. But it's still going to come down to the very end. You're going to have to play well.
Yeah. We'll be streaming every match, or
it will depend. Probably not in the opening round because there's going to be 4 games. So we might do 2.
Yeah.
And then as a few of the teams gradually get eliminated, we might be able to try and hopefully from the sort of semi-finals onwards, we'll be able to do them all.
That's good.
I mean, because as we said in the last podcast, neither of us are going to be playing in it, so we should have some time.
With Emoji, they haven't caused that surge as well that was needed from them.
I mean, we've had a bad. I think we've lost 5, drawn 1 since the restart. So it's
might be something.
Yeah, that's.
I'm joking.
I mean, I played 1 half against Scream, so I can't even blame myself for anything. But it just hasn't quite worked out for Emoji in the second half.
I mean, they've decreased the quality of their players a lot. Like, no offense to any of them, but Spirit, Furia, O'Toole, and Elma ain't Gooch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from Jags last season. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, but I still think because the quality of the league is so much more this season.
Yeah, definitely.
That Jags team will probably still only be maybe 7th, 8th, 9th.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit higher with Tool, 5th or 6th, but I don't think they'd be sort of title chasers like they were last season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are your lot's predictions? Who do you think's going to make the playoffs?
That's a tough one.
It really is tough. For me, the top 5 are safe as long as Equalists don't disband.
Yeah.
I think Lord will make it.
Yeah, I think they will, especially with Raiden.
Fixers, I can't decide about Fixers.
I mean, I think they looked kind of shaky against us.
Yeah, but they're slow to start. But once they start,
that's the thing. Like they are also a team that you just cannot know what there's coming in the game.
The thing that makes me more confident with them is last season they were sort of right on the edge of the path, and then the last 3 games they really turned up for to make sure they got it.
Yeah, and they nearly
So
won the whole thing. They were 1 goal.
Yeah,
off.
they got to the final in the end. Yeah, so lost by 1 goal at the Predator Eagles. So for me, fixers, even though they look a little bit shaky right now, I think they're going to be in as well, which means we've got 1 spot remaining for Indigo, Scream, and Flying Aces.
I'm going to say Indigo. I'm going to be bold because I think Dr. Weiss and Shax are 2 cracking players, and Jog Benny as well. I think they can win with that. They can.
Jog Benny's left the Discord though, so I don't know if he's playing.
Yeah, and he's inactive anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, River does a nice job up front.
He's been scoring bangers. Like from the records live streams and goal of the weeks, like, woo.
You know, if Flying Aces were a little bit closer, like maybe 2 or 3 points closer, I'd favour them. But the fact Indigo have a 5-point advantage with the game in hand, you know, it's tough to call, and then you still got Scream in there as well. It's really tough to call that last spot.
Yeah, like it really depends on like next week.
Yeah, so
you know so much more. How is it gonna look like?
Yeah, because you've got Flying Aces have to beat one of those 2 big teams that you mentioned.
Yes,
at least one of them. Because obviously, if you fall sort of 10 points behind again, it's gonna start looking like too big a stretch.
Like, I think maybe the best thing would be that Scream and Indigo plays a draw in their game between, and we just have to beat both of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Scream have had a few draws already, you know, this season. They're sort of, Scream and Indigo are those teams that sort of most of their matches are quite tight. You know, they don't tend to win or lose by much. You know, you don't often see say Indigo losing 8-0, for example. I think they got battered in 1 game in the first half, but apart from that, they've generally been pretty competitive in every game.
Because we were above them for ages, I remember. And then they
that's the other thing. They have quite a hard fixture list at the start because they were right at the bottom for the first 4 or 5 matches, and obviously ended up pulling themselves back to the 7th or 8th at the midpoint. So if Indigo have favourable fixtures in the last week, you know, when the pressure's on, that could make the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if Indigo nails the next week, they are beat the safe. That's for sure.
And you have a feeling they're probably going to call the top players. You know, you might see Jog Benny turn up.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah,
at the very end. Obviously, you know, Shax Lalele is going to be playing in every game.
Yeah, he's getting paid too much.
Probably Roturk is going to be there as well. So,
player.
And then Scream. The thing is, Scream are kind of like that team, you know, that nobody doesn't like because they're all they're all nice guys. They're decent players.
I mean,
you want to see them make it. It's just hard to make a case for them over the other teams.
And they can crumble easily as well. Like, I've just seen them lose a match too early almost. They take a while to get into like Wolfpack. I remember them. We were streaming that one. Second half, they took it to them, but it was all too little, too late.
It's like can they go at the top level for 14 minutes, you know, without making any errors? That's going to be the key for them.
Indeed.
But yes, even though Supreme Meme Team have the same amount of points as Flying Aces, their goal difference is terrible. You know, Flying Aces -4, Supreme Meme Team -51.
Yeah, that just explains how it has been lately. They had a good start. That's like something you have to give them.
They have a favourable. They play Brexit Slavs and AC Milan in the first week. Yeah. So you know that's favourable.
But still, they managed to get 23 points so far.
Yeah. I mean, they've done well. I had them finishing lower than where they are now. I thought HDM and. I thought they'd be second or third last. Yeah. I thought the bottom 3 would be the two that are the bottom 2 now plus Supreme Meme Team.
Do you think they're capable of outdoing Milan?
Do I think Brexit Slavs can finish above Milan?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you play each other on the very last game, don't you?
Oh, that's going to be a proper relegation scrap. We got that
one stream. So you need to get within 3 points of them by that game.
Yeah, I can see it.
But AC Milan, they just don't score any goals. We mentioned it last time. Like they're on 20 matches, 32 goals now.
Yeah, that's really poor.
You know, if you compare it to even Brexit, you guys have 47 goals.
Yeah.
So even though their defense is a bit better than quite a few other teams around them, if you don't score any goals, how are you going to win? 32 in 20 games.
And they're losing
It's
a lot
just
of players as well. Like,
Well, they haven't really had a settled team. I think a lot of their players sort of play a few games, then go inactive.
Yeah,
So it's always a changing lineup, so it's hard to get any chemistry.
yeah, just like guys like Devs. Like he joined
Yeah.
them, but I haven't seen him turn up for them.
he's busy with his maths.
Devs is always like that. I mean, I've had him in Triple D twice. He'll play everything in like a two-week period, and then you won't see him for 2 months, like ever. That's just how he is. But so he played everything in the first few weeks of the season, and then disappeared, and you probably won't see him again all season.
Indeed. Right, I think it's time to wrap it up then. Is there any last comments or?
We could see if anybody who's tuning in now, if you've got any questions you want us to answer.
Raiden's talking about us not mentioning SMT, but we did.
Yeah.
Domino, I'm white, I'm not black. I don't know.
All three of us are white.
Yeah.
So I don't know what.
Aryan Brotherhood right here.
Yeah. BFF, Brexit, Futsal Federation. That's all we've got.
Just gonna check the Discord, see if anyone said anything there. Make sure you subscribe as well. Pax is asking for French subtitles, maybe at a later date.
French subtitles.
Okay, Frank Rhymes comes up with a question.
Oh yeah.
That's just like a really nosy question.
Oh yeah, because I said to him if he got a Ruby rank, do a boundless fun cup. Obviously thinking there's no way he's going to get a Ruby rank because he's pretty bad. He's only gone and bloody got it as me. So.
He will be starting next match. I will be on the bench. That is a little leaked information, but there you go.
He's been on fire a bit. We played earlier, like me, Dindin, Frank, and someone else beat Irv.
Yeah.
I've forgotten who else.
Rashad,
but like
Itachi.
But like we won a game. We had no. Oh, it was against Irv and Zed. So like, and Zed rage quit after classic.
I love beating Zed because he gets so pissed off.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. Like there was sort of like a 2v1 with Dino, and then Fury just completely ran towards the other player and left the goal completely open. And Dino just sort of like passed it in like the slowest shot ever, and everyone just went crazy with Fury. It's always funny playing with Fury, as long as he's not on your team. Well, I don't always mind because it means I get to have a cameo in Strikers.
Right. Kanoa wants to hear. He says, our most underrated player from each team. We don't have that long, so who's your most underrated player so far in the league?
Most
Underrated.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a really tough one. I would give it to Ferry maybe. I think he's a good player, really good. He holds it together really well.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I might go with River.
Yeah, that's a shout. He's been strong this season.
I think Indigo's results have actually been better since River's been in the team. And he's a very versatile player. He can sort of play anywhere in the team, and I think he always does a solid job whenever he's in the team. So I'll probably say River's one of the more underrated players in the league.
That's a shout. I mean, I don't know who I'd say. Ekshon, I'm joking.
Everyone knows how much you rate Ekshon after that.
Yeah. I mean, I think Roz. I don't think that guy gets enough credit for how strong he is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably because he's still quite new in futsal.
Yeah.
People haven't been.
Yeah, that's the thing. But if you watch the recordings, you can see he is great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and Yasko are like on a level higher than most you see, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's why I kind of think they're still my picks to win the whole thing.
Oh, and we've got a message from Raiden. What do you think about the battle between Predator Eagles, Equalists, and Lords for 4th, 5th, and 6th place? He wants Total's point of view. He doesn't care about us, Daffy. He cares about
I think Eagles will drop at least to 6th Predator Eagles are safe. They're gonna be fourth, I think.
Also, they've signed Scray.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
And Fury
that's a good signing. That's a good signing.
Yeah.
They are safe. I think they are safe for fourth spot.
I think
As
they've got a good
as
chance
long
of
as
winning.
as long as Scredge doesn't rage quit again,
Yeah,
because he's kind of like Hulk. He's a very volatile personality.
He's
So
not as bad as Hulk though. Like,
well, no, nobody's as bad as Hulk. But...
I come to do this.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You cannot talk to me. You're commentator noob.
I can see Lord passing Equalists, and maybe if it all goes wrong, I can see other teams pass them too.
Yeah.
I hope
It just kind of depends on how do they keep on playing. Will they like just start trolling when everything goes to shit,
Mhm.
or can they like keep it up?
They've lost
Yeah,
all their
that-
identity, in my opinion. Like,
Predator Eagles.
no, Equalists. I think we're talking about.
I mean, the
Equalists.
Equalists haven't really had an identity, have they?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
they were sort of the Dutch team at the beginning, and then they sort of brought in Raiden and stuff, and Zorsi, so they kind of became a Dutch-French hybrid. And then it just gradually started splintering as people left one by one.
And
Yeah, and now it's just like just group of individuals.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, even if they make the playoffs, for me, they're probably got the least chance of winning. Out of anyone.
yeah, they have a good goalkeeper in Asmir, but you know when you start just checking out like Aomin as DM, I mean he's solid, but he's not like you can really compare him to the DMs of the top four.
Yeah, like
teams.
Roz and Nock and
Yeah, for example.
yeah.
and
Andy
Irva,
as
yeah,
well, Gunlean. Prez have got a
Yeah.
good squad depth, man.
certainly do. That's why they're unbeaten.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can't see Equalists really troubling any of them.
Indeed.
Personally, I still hope they finish above the Lord because I have a €5 bet with him about Lord finishing below Equalists. So come on, Equalists,
Yeah.
just stay ahead of Lord for me.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to do these two of the last questions, then we're going to wrap it up. Raiden has said promo for Predator Lord tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Does he mean stream it?
Yeah, no, it's Indigo versus Prayers is being streamed. I will stream
Are
that if it's not at 10.
Are they playing tomorrow?
I think they are. That's what KL told me. But
No.
and Tool is saying, what do you think about Raiden, and why do you think he's a bad player? I think Raiden's good at the
Raiden's
basics.
like one of those players. He kind of reminds me a bit of Lyrago.
Yeah, very similar.
You know, like as long as you as long as you put him in a
good team.
I mean, it's difficult for strikers to carry because if you're just stuck with your own team, you know, in the defensive sector, and you get no passes, like what are you supposed to do? Short of like, you know, coming up with some kind of rocket from your own half. So it's like one of them, like Raiden. He's not the most skillful of strikers. You know, he's more about like sort of the blocks, the back passes, the simple passes.
I think
like the finishes. So
I think he's worse than me.
yeah, I would agree with that.
I agree. Oh, apparently
No,
Bruno needs
bring the
resolve.
fire.
I'm annoyed I didn't put you in my fantasy team, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't think of you. I put in G Bale and he's doing nothing.
I put Bosco for this, so.
Yeah, I have been on fire lately.
Yeah, like you're actually, even though Blah hasn't done the stupid graphic, you're actually in the team of the week 6.
Oh yeah.
But Blah's slow on the graphic again. So shout out to Blah, get your fucking ass into gear.
Right.
So shall we call that there?
I think we shall. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We've had 13 concurrent viewers. Like, I'm gassed with that, to be honest.
We'll post the VOD after for anybody.
Yeah,
who
well,
couldn't,
it does
see it.
that with YouTube. That's why I'm streaming it on there. Yeah, make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe again. And make sure you subscribe.
And donate.
Yeah, donate. If you want to donate, message me.
We'll send you some ego bathwater if you donate.
Yeah, trust me. Oh yeah, a shout out. The highlight of last week was my mum joining the stream. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
if anyone saw that, but that was the best part of the stream. But yeah,
Shout out to Tina. I said she could call me Michael anytime.
smooth.
Big fan of Joe's mum.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get her on for more
Alright,
streams.
Yeah, on the podcast.
Yeah, let's have her on. Let's have her as a special guest in
Right
the
then.
podcast 3.
All right then. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. I've been through Joel Moore.
I've been Daffyd.
And I have been Total.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Night.